All right, so I assumed you already watched my first video, and this is more of a follow-up on what comes next, what is the second priority. So I assumed you already diagnosed everything. You know exactly what your follow-up should be like. You check the job titles and you check the priorities and what they are accountable for. You did the multi-touch point to make sure you can actually follow them up on different platforms, whether it's from email, jump to LinkedIn, jump to phone call, and so on. So now this is very interesting. The second point is, I think, is being missed, which is 1 to 2 touch points are never enough. So according to HubSpot, and there are about 44% of sales rep quit after one follow-up. And 80% of meetings gets booked actually after 5 multi-channel touch points. In fact, we have been seeing this in Expand East, that we always have those first 1 or 2 touch points. They need to get familiar with who you are, what you do. They might have asked questions, or they might just ignore because they got too much bombarded by other emails that they forgot or overlooked your email. So be careful about the 1 to 2 touch point. It's a big deal. So I want to highlight micro points in that point. You need to make sure to have 5 to 7 follow-ups or touch points on every single lead in a span of 45 days. That's the golden rule. And by the way, this can be counted as connection request, liking something recently on their post, following up via email, going back to LinkedIn, calling them. That's already 5 touch points over a span of 45 days. You can automate that. So there's a very beautiful tools like this called Get Sales and a few others like HeyReach, Smartlead, Limblist. All of them are beautiful, and I have tried all of them. I don't see a problem with any of them. Some of them are very expensive, some of them can be affordable. It depends on your budget and what you have allocated for this kind of automation framework. And this is an example of what I mean by automation. So you can just simply put endorsing a skill on automation, or liking the recent post, or sending a connection request. And then for follow-ups, you need to be careful. I've discussed this before in one of my recent videos about be careful about the reply rates. So when you do a first touch point, you need to check, is it getting me a healthy reply rate or no? So for LinkedIn, for example, I always put a benchmark, not go below 30% on the first touch point. So it has to be something to position you differently, or an authority or a leader in this specific industry. And it has to be factual. Do not come up with random stuff. So as you can see, these are examples for you as a reference to understand. These slides, by the way, can be found in the description of the video. So I will give you access to it in case if it's not clear in this video for you to grasp. Again, these are some of the campaigns we did for Expand East, so you don't have to strictly follow the templates, but I'm just giving you an idea of how we actually automate things from one of our campaigns. Again, you cannot be too aggressive. Okay, so the micro second point is to space out your communication. It's very obvious, but I have to say it, which is make sure it's not too aggressive, not every day you're bombarding them, and also not too far away. Not every month I'm going to follow up, so that's ridiculous. So stay with this rule, which is 2 to 5 days gap every single follow-up in the cold outreach. All right, the third point is, I said this before and I'm going to say it again, alternate your channels. So again, I'm giving you an example. Start with an email, change it to a phone call, and then after that, go to a LinkedIn DM. And you can automate that flow very easily utilizing a lot of beautiful tools like Limblist. And I have had really good Limblist giving this multi-channel outreach approach. And I think so far it's very, very nice. You can also consider integrating Smartlead with HeyReach or Smartlead with Get Sales in order for you to get this kind of multi-channel automation. And I have highlighted this in my previous video, and I'm going to say this again. Make sure to provide value or a reason for them to respond. The whole idea when they are ghosting you is that this means you are not valuable enough. You did not get their attention. The most valuable asset online as you speak is attention. And that's why we have so many ways to get executives' attention, whether it's via flashy ads or talking statistics to them, or I don't know what is that thing that would trigger them. So that's why you have to test, whether it's an article, whether it's a video. We don't know. When we're talking to somebody, we really don't know. Is it a Loom video? Is it a voice note? We have tried voice notes via LinkedIn DM. It has been very much successful, but it was not successful with other executives. So we have to try, give it a shot. Article, LinkedIn DMs, LinkedIn voice notes, and test and see how it goes. These are some of the examples of what we call responses that happen to be very much positive, just giving some sort of feedback for you. Okay, so the third point or the third cornerstone that I discussed when you are being ghosted that most likely you need to fix, which is don't single thread the deal. So what does that even mean? Most of you, when you're going after a company, you go, let's say a startup, you're going to go after the co-founder. I can tell you this, some of the co-founders might have a different agenda than so let's say there's 3 co-founders, but this co-founder comes from a CTO background or a technical background. This co-founder comes from a marketing background, and this co-founder most likely comes from a finance background. So when you reach out to only one, and this person, let's say, comes from finance background, and you're selling to him like a sales solution that will help him grow his business, honestly, the one who comes from finance background does not really care. As simple as that. So what you need to do is to go with this multi-layer. So basically, you go after different positions. Let's say if you're going to go after co-founders and 3 or 4 co-founders, depending on how many founders in this company. So this is exactly what do I mean by multi-thread your deals. So you have to map the decision network. Okay, so you need to think who would be making a decision in my tool or my services, and who are most likely going to be involved in the back end. So if I'm selling like a marketing automation solution, most likely it's going to be the marketing executive on the practical side, the marketing manager, also a little bit on the practical side, firsthand, is going to use it, the CMO on a strategic side, and then most likely the CEO to probably approve the budget, or the CFO. So you have 4 or 5 people most likely going to be involved. So you need to have 5 or 6 different messages for these guys. As simple as that. And that's exactly how you look at it from this perspective. Some of them are actually buffer. So they're not the decision makers, like marketing executive. I'm 100% sure they want your tool. They think your tool is going to save their life, get everything in place for them in terms of KPI. But the problem is they don't have the purchasing power to get that tool. And therefore, high chance you can just ask them, can you refer me who would be the right person that approves vendors or tools in your organization? And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So untailor communication. This is the third point. Fourth point is align sales and marketing. This is one of the biggest nightmare problem I have been seeing across every single industry. It has been repetitive, even as big as Shopify, even because Shopify was still our partners and one of our amazing, reliable partners we've been working with. You can see the marketing has unrelated to what the sales team are doing, and marketing is something just giving lead magnets and just generating some dead leads for the sales team. And the sales team are talking to them in a completely different context, unrelated to the deal, unrelated to the lead magnet, I would say. It's crazy. The whole thing is fragmented. And I have seen many cases like that across various teams in Southeast Asia. I'm sure it's in different regions as well. So you need to make sure the context aligned. What is the messaging going to be? What is the frontline messaging? I know it cannot be rigid, but we need to know, okay, we're selling an agentic AI. Now, this agentic AI is going to do what? Okay, it's not going to do everything. And if I'm going to talk to the CFO, what I'm going to tell him? And what are the main pointers that we should put them as a common denominator? That we need to only mention these. Now, you can change a lot of variables in your messages, but these are the things that you really need to fix on. This is very important, and I can tell you like sometimes prospect goes not because they don't like your offer. I think you might have been doing a really great job on the offering, but because they are scared that might be the wrong decision. So to give you perspective, one of the important thing is executives do not want to hire a vendor that would get them fired. As simple as that. For example, if let's say you have a solution that is quite similar to what Microsoft is giving, or let's say Salesforce is giving, let's say you're selling CRM, high chance they will never go for your CRM solution because there's a much mature, reliable software that has been on the market for 20 years. So do not come to me and tell me, you know what, I want to sell my CRM solution to the same audience of like Microsoft or Salesforce or a few others. That would be insane. And executives will never believe whatever you're selling them. because you don't have the same track record that these big guys. And that's why you have to have different positioning, something very specific, very granular that you're fixing that have been undermined by those big guys. But competing head to head will never work for you. And that's why we need to be careful about this is a product problem. So also you need to be careful as a co-founder. Am I having a product problem or an offer problem, messaging problem, or basically I just have misalignment in everything, like everything is fragmented. And that brings me to, again, to the point about having a good offer. So a good offer is your best friend here. And if you do not have an offer for a cold outreach, it's going to be a problem. Cold outreach is a completely different game than running ads and people coming to your landing page and signing up voluntarily. Your offer on the outbound should be very much jaw-dropping or a trial that is worth $200. Something that is really interesting for these kind of prospect that you have been disturbing their day and getting their, I would say, hijacking their attention. And you want to get them to maximize the output from this messaging that you have given them. So they would want to know what's in it for me on a personal level before even my company. And your offer needs to be tailored toward that. So whether it's let's say on your website, you're offering 30 days, but for them, you're offering 90 days. That's what we call like offer that is not found to the public. Or something like, you don't have to pay now. We're offering you this tool for your first 3 clients. We don't even have that offer on our website. That's exactly what I mean by a different offer that they have to see. Again, I would like to highlight, if you're a small company or a startup, you need to make sure you have peer success. You need to show what you've been doing. And this is a big deal. And this is very important when it comes to social proof. Cannot dismiss that. So basically, this is exactly the whole 2 videos, 2 parts I covered, per part 1 and part 2. And I hope those 5 points that I have highlighted, once you tweak them, it's 100% surely will avoid you being ghosted, getting you more meetings. And if you have any questions, you can always drop me a comment. I will reply to you on this new channel. Thank you so much.